Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here, and we are bringing you battle number 3 of the Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle series here. Today we are going up against a long-time subscriber to the channel, EnterZync, aka Gary, as you see on the screen, and today we are bringing a brand new team from the last two. So this team is definitely not as good as the first one I built, by any stretch, by the way. I kind of just built this one a lot more randomly than the other one, just around some mons that I was just looking up and wanted to kind of use. I actually only used this team for like a day and a half before I switched it up, but we got some pretty good battles out of it for the short time it was being used, and this is probably, I think, for me anyway, the best one that we had. So, taking a quick look at it, we have a Choice Specs Primarina, a specially defensive rapid spin wish passing Kamala, Life Orb Salazzle just for speed. My rock one is actually Assault Vested. I know that most people are running him Choice Banded with that Water Bubble Liquidation, but I thought it provided some nice bulk, and you're going to see why in this match. We've got a fully defensive Palossand, 252 HP, 252 defense, and it's got the ability Shore Up, which is going to be big in this match. And then we've got a Alolan Muck, who is going to be a Curse Setter, just like regular Muck. It's got Gunk Knockoff and Shadow Sneak on top of its Curse, and a Poison Touch as well, considering it's kind of its best ability. So, on his side, he's running triple Tapu. He's only missing Lele. He's got Bulu, Koko, and Feeny, all very good Pokemon. He's got Mega Aerodactyl. One of my second favorite mon of Gen 7 behind Mudsdale, Alola Marowak. He is my boy. And Golisopod, who is kind of underwhelming thanks to his ability, but can still put in a lot of work. Definitely. So I don't really have a dedicated lead for this team like I did for the other one, being the Lycanroc. So I decided I was going to lead with Primarina because I felt like only Bulu and Koko really scared me, and Koko could kind of be handled with my Palossand. So we do lead with that. Unfortunately, he does lead with the worst thing possible for me. That is going to be Bulu. Something that definitely terrifies me. This thing we saw in the last video was really defensive, but in this one you're going to see he's just your straight up typical Choice Band set. This thing hits like an absolute monster. Now, I know Salazzle is not the bulkiest mon on the planet by any stretch, but he quad resists this attack, being fire poison, and that does well over 50%, almost 75% to me, which is absolutely insane. Whether or not I'm frail, quad resisting doing that much is just absolutely incredible. So, we do live it. We're going to spend the first turn here, we're going to switch out because he's got a really easy switch in for me. It's going to be that Marowak, which I'm fully going to predict right here, and we're going to go to Muck to counter that because I know that his team doesn't really appreciate taking knockoffs, despite the fact that he's got the 3 fairy types, that they don't really want to lose their items. So I'm correct in that prediction. Now I'm going to make another prediction, and I'm actually going to curse as he switches into his Aerodactyl here, and we get everything correct there. And the curse is being set up. So already right here, at this point in the game, I'm literally looking at like trying to sweep him here. We've got 3 fairy types. None of them can take Gunk Shot. We've got a Golisopod, a Tapu Koko when Muck's very specially defensive. I actually feel like I'm in a good spot here. So he's going to go ahead and Mega, and as you're going to see, he's going to go for Earthquake. Arrow not going to be all that strong using Earthquake. He really relies on that Tough Claws or Stab. And at +1, it does less than 25%. And we're going to hit it with a knockoff, and it does well over 50%. The actual grassy terrain is going to be huge for me here because I'm getting double leftovers or double black sludge, if whatever, essentially every single turn because of that. So because I'm getting that double recovery and I'm really liking that, I actually take this turn to set up a second curse. But as you see, Stone Edge does way more damage to me than that Earthquake did, which is kind of insane. Because Earthquake super effective should do way more. Stone Edge is only 150 power with Stab, and Earthquake super effective is 200. So I'm not sure. I guess I'm thinking he low rolled the Earthquake and got a better roll on that. But I actually end up misplaying pretty hard here. I go for Shadow Sneak because I'm at +2. I was really confident in that ability to kill, but unfortunately he lives it with a really small sliver of health. Is able to hit another Stone Edge. Thankfully, no high crit ratio kicking in there. And we will be able to take him out with a second Shadow Sneak here, no problem. But the problem with that is going to be that instead of being at a pretty high health that I probably could have been if I wouldn't have set up the second curse, I end up being about half, which kind of sucks. And the terrain's gone. He's going to go into Golisopod now. I actually misplay a second time here. I actually switch out I kind of felt like a first impression may kill me at that range, and I wanted to keep him alive, but I'm +2, and Gilizapod's actually a pretty big threat to my team, so I probably should have stayed in. As you're going to see, first impression, he's a Life Orb, does a lot of damage to me, so I probably misplayed that just a little bit, but either way, we'll take it. So as I said on my choice specs pre-Marina, he's going to end up switching into Tapu Bulu. This is a really bad misplay on his part. I don't make him pay for it, though, on this turn. I actually went for Psychic here instead of Moonblast. Now, he has a Alola Marowak, who's a really bulky Pokemon, so my play there for Psychic was that I know its specs, and then I know that everything on his team is going to take pretty solid damage. Hydro Pump wouldn't have hurt Feeny at all, it wouldn't have hurt Bulu all that much, and Moonblast wouldn't have done monkey crap to Marowak. So I went for the play that was all around. If I went over Moonblast, he would have died, but unfortunately, I went for Psychic there. So this play going to Kamala. Now, the reason I'm jumping into Kamala here is I actually get just completely one-tapped, is I didn't really see a need for Kamala on this team. His only real threat as special attacker is going to be the Koko, and I have Palossand that I'm pretty sure can handle it. Unfortunately, he carries Horn Leech. The plan there was for him to kill himself on recoil with the Wood Hammer, but he rocks the Horn Leech too, which is a really smart play on his part, and he actually, instead of dying, heals a lot, which sucks for me. So we go back into Salazzle here. I'm actually just going to go into Sludge Wave this turn. Last time I really heavily caught him with the Muck, so I figured he would maybe decide to make the play to stay in to predict this time, but he doesn't. And at first I'm like, man, that's a kind of weird play considering I could have gone back into Muck and just pooped on him again. But he does go into it. You do see the leftover set. That's going to be key later on. He's running the bulkier set as opposed to the thick club set. So remember, his attack is not as good as it could be. But he's going to reveal right now why he doesn't fear that Muck coming in like that anymore. Now that Muck's really low, he can actually just go ahead and Earthquake it, as you see here. So that is exactly why he stays in, which makes it a really good play on his part. But I do go on to Rock Wind at that time because I'm predicting somewhat of a fire attack, and I do have Water Bubble. And I knew with the double recovery from the, or with the recovery, excuse me, from the grassy terrain that I would have taken it fine. But he does go for the Earthquake, does no damage, and we put ourselves in a pretty solid spot. So this is Rock Wind. It is Assault Vest as opposed to Choice Banded. And that's going to kind of come into play here right now. I actually am going to go ahead and click Poison Jab as he goes into Tapu Koko. He has 3 fairies, all the Tapus. I know that he's fearing a water attack, probably. So I kind of predicted Bulu to come in and eat this Poison Jab. He does go into Koko. But at the end of the day, I will absolutely take Koko taking damage over top of the Bulu. As you're going to see, I mentioned how big the bulk's going to come into play. A Thunderbolt from a Life Orb Koko does not kill me in terrain because of my Assault Vest. And we're actually just able to hit the Liquidation on this turn and take out Koko easily, which is really cool. Really, really cool by Rock Wind there. So, obviously, at this point, Rock Wind is pretty much worthless. He's going to jump back into Bulu. It's a much safer play for me to just go ahead and stay in here and just see what he locks himself into. So, he does lock himself into the Wood Hammer, which is clearly going to kill me. It would have one-tapped me. And Rock Wind is going to go down. But very much did his job there, taking out a huge threat and that really fast Tapu Koko. 130 base speed. Incredible Pokemon. And really, only thing I had left was Palossand to even mess with it. So, really be playing on that part. So we're going to jump back into Salazzle here yet again. I make the same exact play as last time. I'm just going to go for Sludge Wave, really hoping that he's fearful of something coming in and catching this very slow Alola Marowak. So I just go for a second Sludge Wave. Again, it does no damage. But it was worth the risk, honestly. So at this point, I could make the decision to sack Salazzle, but because of the fact that he's still got Bulu, he's still got Feeny, I really, really want to keep Salazzle alive here. One Sludge Wave on one of those could really change this match hard by killing one of those. So instead, I'm going to make a really, really risky prediction here. And we're actually just going to go right into Pre-Marina to predict either a Fire Attack or Earthquake again. And he does go for Earthquake, thankfully. So this Marowak is super weak as compared to what it could be. You see that does almost nothing. I know that's not stab or anything, but I'm not even a bulky set. That's a pretty crazy amount of damage that it's going to do, just very little in general. So this is going to set me up in a pretty solid position. Yet again, I am choice specs here. This time, I'm going to solidly make the prediction here of him switching out. I know he cannot resist going down, because if he does, Salazzle pretty much walks all over him. So I'm going to go ahead and just click Moonblast on this play. He's going to go into Tapu Fini. Feeney's going to be a really bulky set here. As you're going to see, Choice Specs Moonblast does under half damage to this, which is kind of insane, but that's how bulky Feeney really is. But I know that I can still win this fight 1v1. I'm fully confident in that because I know that Feeney can't do that much, but Enter makes a really weird play here. This is the play that pretty much swaps the game entirely. He goes into Tapu Bulu. Now, I think the play here was that he thought he could take a single Moonblast and that he could hit me with a Horn Leech and really work his health back with the terrain and the left and the recovery from that. But as you saw, Psychic did like 80% to it. Moonblast going to do way more than that, and Bulu actually just takes it and dies one shot, which is absolutely huge for me. Huge play to get that thing out of the way. So he's going to go into his Marowak here. Obviously, he knows I'm Choice Specs at this point. My play now is just to go into Salazzle. It still could be very useful for Feeney, as he actually goes for Will-O-Wisp there for some reason. But still could be very useful for Feeney. But I think without Bulu now, I'm much safer to just go ahead and let Salazzle die. I still definitely want Primarina for its Specs power coming through. So we're just going to let Salazzle die here. I go for another one last Sludge Wave here. Again, it does very little, about 25%. He's just going to hit up that Earthquake, and clearly 4 times super effective. Obviously, it's absolutely going to take me out. And but Salazzle did his job here. Salazzle put in some pretty solid work in this match, to be honest. Now I have a free reign to just come into whatever I want here and just kind of make a play. So my play here actually is going to be to go into Palossand, because I win this fight 1v1. As I said, you've seen how weak this thing actually is. The terrain's still up for me. I've got double recovery. I'm hitting harder than he's going to hit me, and he knows that, so he's actually going to go ahead and just switch out into the Golisopod again as I go for Shadow Ball. So he didn't want the Marowak to take a lot of damage there. He knows if it does, it goes into Shadow Sneak range, and that kind of puts him into a position where he's going to have a really hard time fighting Primarina because I could just spam Moonblast. So he makes the right play there. I'm going to go ahead and switch out here and go into Muck. I know what's coming here. It's just going to be a liquidation. I could have gone into Primarina, but again, Primarina really important right now, I feel, for me for doing damage, especially with that Feeney. Feeney's pretty much going to have to be taken out 1v1 by Primarina. Otherwise, I definitely lose this fight. So Muck does go down there, which is completely fine. Again, he put in some solid work in this match, so I can't be mad at it. Terrain goes away for the final time. And now we're going to go into Primarina, and this is where we just are able to make a really good play here. So he actually switches into Feeney, which really caught me off guard, to be honest. But I went for Hydro Pump here. A Specs Hydro Pump. I really expected the Marowak, because one, Golisopod should be able to handle Palossand, and Feeney's really important for it too. I didn't really see the need for Marowak to stick around at this point, because of what I had left. So I predicted that. Unfortunately, it does go into the Feeney. But because of how bulky Primarina is and how little bit of offense that this thing's going to have, you're going to see that this Specs Hydro Pump is doing plenty enough damage to give me this win 1v1. As long as I can hit all the Hydro Pumps, which thankfully this game plays hella nice with me for once. And I am able to actually hit 3 straight Hydro Pumps on this thing, which is huge. So you're going to see this Moonblast come through. It takes me down into the red. We do live with a minimal 13 health. Hydro Pump does land for the 3rd time in a row, which is really nice. And Primarina goes down. Or not Primarina, excuse me. Feeney goes down. And that sets me up for the win. It doesn't look like it. And I think at this point, Enter really thought he had the match in hand. But this is really huge for me. He has to go into a Golisopod. Marowak is not faster. So he has to go into Golisopod and hit me with the first impression to kill me. My prayer here is that he does not lose, or he does not switch out due to the Life Orb, which he doesn't. He stays just over half health. Emergency acting does a kick in, and now we go into Palossand. So right now, again, he's probably feeling hella confident right here. He clicks Liquidation. He pretty much decimates me, and he's in a really good spot. But I do live the Liquidation. As I said, I max defense. Shore Up, or not Shore Up, but Water Compaction is going to kick in. That's going to boost my defense by 2 stages, which is absolutely huge here. His Life Orb is going to force him out, which is maybe even bigger here due to the emergency exit. Marowak comes in, and I go for Shore Up. Now that's going to heal me 50%, and now I'm at +2. We know that this Marowak is pretty weak. We've seen that it's not doing a lot of damage. If he's Thick Club at this point, Shadowbone probably still does enough damage to really work against me here. But because he's the leftover set, He's more of a bulky variant. He's not going to be able to do enough damage here. So as you're going to watch, he's going to go for Shadow Bone. Or actually, he goes for Will-O-Wisp first and misses, which I thought was weird. But we do go for the Shore Up. It gets us all the way back up to maximum health, which is really nice. And now he's going to go for Shadow Bone as I go for Shadow Ball. So I'm at +2, like I said, full defensive. This ability seems weird off. When you first look at it, it takes super effective damage, gain defenses. But if you can take it and get that Shore Up off, look at that damage. That did absolutely nothing. That is super effective at everything. Marowak, even without that, the Thick Club, still is a really strong Pokemon in general. So doing that little bit of damage with a super effective stab attack like that is absolutely insane. So now he's just going to have to go ahead. There's nothing else he can really do with this. It's pretty much wasted. He goes for another Shadow Bone. It does absolutely nothing yet again. We're going to take another Shadow Ball out on him here. It does almost enough to kill him. But I actually wanted him to live really badly because that's actually going to allow me to go ahead and shore up any amount of damage he's going to do to me on this turn. And ensure that on his last attack, I end up being at actually maximum health for the Golisopod. He actually ends up going for Will-O-Wisp the second time. He misses the second time in a row. I guess the point behind him going for Will-O-Wisp here was that he was trying to get some kind of chip damage, but with as bulky as you're seeing that I am, it didn't really matter all that much, to be honest. I think the play should have been to keep spamming Shadow Bone and just pray for a critical hit, because that was pretty much all he was going to get that was going to matter. But it is good for Will-O-Wisp. A third time he does land it, so he does get a little bit of chip, but in case you weren't aware, they actually nerfed Burn in this gen. It still lowers your attack just the same, but it actually only damages you exactly as much as Leftovers is going to heal me. So he goes down, and literally all that Burn does is legitimately, it literally only takes away my Leftovers pretty much here. Just makes them irrelevant, which is kind of weird considering how bulky I am. He goes for another Liquidation here. I'm pretty sure I actually shore up on this play because I wasn't sure how much damage that was going to do. When I was +2, as you see, it does well under half. And I'm pretty sure I click Shore Up here. Yes, we click Shore Up yet again to get myself all the way back up to maximum health minus the burn damage. But now I'm at +4 defense. You know at this point, the only thing that's going to happen is that he's going to have to critical hit. There's nothing else he can do. A critical hit would kill me because we saw how much the original Liquidation did. But fortunately, no cheese on that. He goes for another Liquidation. It does like 25% at this point. Absolutely insane. It boosts up to +6 defense. Just for what it's worth, who cares, right? And we're going to go and just hit him up with a Shadow Ball, which is definitely going to take him out and give me the narrow 1-0 victory. With my boy, I never even mentioned it, my legitimate shiny Palossand. That's the Palossand actually that you guys, if you saw the video, the shiny video I posted where we hatched the shiny Sandcastle. That's him. We bottle capped him. He got him to level 100. Bottle capped his defense and his HP like I wanted to, and all that good stuff. So he's ready to go. And on one of his first ever matches with me, he puts in a ton of work and picks up the win. So when that ability came out, when it was revealed what Water Compaction did, because a lot of people when they first saw it kind of thought it maybe gave it immunity to water, which everyone was really excited about, but it doesn't. So a lot of people were like, take a super effective hit, get some defensive boost. That's kind of weird. Which it is, but when you combine it with the fact that he's got a really good healing move and Shore Up like that, that's able to heal him, and actually Shore Up actually heals you 100% of your health when you're in Sandstorm, which is insane, by the way. When you're able to combine it with that kind of attack to do exactly what I did, take a really heavy hit from that Liquidation, but be able to heal myself back up to the point that another Liquidation won't kill me and I'm able to keep healing if I have to, that makes that ability really, really good if you're able to predict it correctly and get the defensive boost in that kind of situation. If Palossand ends up being like your last mon, or all they have left is physical attackers, and you're able to bait a water attack like that and get yourself back up to healed, without crits, you pretty much win the game because he's actually super bulky defensively on his own, let alone when you put him to +2. Absolutely insane. So, obviously, guys, that's it for this video. As per usual, I want to thank you guys for watching and checking out the battle. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like on the video. Make sure you comment as well. Leave whatever you want to say about Palossand or the battle itself or whatever, just like usual. If you're new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. I get out videos. I'm trying to really build my YouTube up where I'm getting like 2 to 3 videos out a week. Most of them are going to be battles, but if I get other random shinies and stuff, I'll do that. I do plan on, whenever I'm able to get Moon, because I carry Sun, obviously, to try to do like a Nuzlocke or something on YouTube. Haven't really tried playthroughs before. I did like one a long time ago, but I didn't really go anywhere. But would be cool to try that. So make sure you do subscribe. If you haven't checked out my Twitch, twitch.tv/xcriscabane. It's in the description below. Make sure you check out the stream if you get a chance. We stream 6 to 7 days a week, every single week. It's a really good time. We battle there. We breed my Pokemon there. I give away all my Breedjects there too if you're interested in anything. I still have quite a lot of Breedjects actually, so you know, if you're interested, make sure you check out the stream. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching again. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video, alright? Alright, peace, Ramen Nation. See you guys next time.